Welcome to our session titled, How Do I Know That They Know? Meaningful Output. Bienvenidos. My name is Melissa Moran. I am a Spanish educator at Science Leadership Academy at Bieber in the School District of Philadelphia.
Bienvenue. My name is Sharae Graham. I'm a French educator at Parkway Center City Middle College in the School District of Philadelphia. We are world language professional development facilitators with the Health and Welfare Fund of the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers. During this portion of the presentation, I will share some examples of activities for speaking and writing in the novice classroom. Special person interviews are anchor activities in my classroom at the beginning of the school year. They are an excellent way to build classroom community and to do so in the target language. What I will present now is a series of activities that was actually inspired by a post I read on Facebook. In the fall of 2020, I wanted to spice up my special person routine and make it more engaging. So I added a 2 truths and a lie twist. First, the students had to record a Flipgrid video answering 4 interview questions. They were permitted to answer any 4 questions. The teacher's task is to create a Flipgrid prompt, share supporting materials, share the prompt on the LMS, and allow time for students to submit the assignment. To support students throughout the multi-step assignment, I uploaded documents on my LMS, but to Flipgrid as well. Flipgrid allows teachers to upload external documents and share other external links. For this assignment, I shared the Google Slides presentation I used during special person interviews in class. As an additional support, I recorded audio clips of the questions and sentence starters for the answers. I placed the audio clips on the slides. For the next part of the assignment, the students returned to Flipgrid. They watched the videos of 4 different classmates. While watching the videos, they wrote down 4 statements, 2 true statements and 2 false statements. Here we have a screenshot of the true-false statement assignment. I created a table to indicate where the students were to write the true statements and the false statements. Naturally, there are some spelling and grammatical mistakes. I edited the mistakes as a part of the next step. The teacher's task is to create an assignment to collect true-false statements from students and allow time for students to submit the assignment. Once the true-false statements were submitted, I added the questions to a quiz bank. The advantage of using a tech tool with a quiz bank feature is that the site can randomly assign different questions to each student. Each of the tools pictured here allows teachers to create quizzes with question banks. The teacher's task is to review the true-false Google Doc assignment, copy statements and create an answer key, and create a question bank and assign questions randomly. Finally, the students returned to Flipgrid to rewatch their classmates' videos in order to answer true or false questions in the quiz. Next, I will transition to output and how I build writing skills with my novice students using the Write and Discuss instructional practice. To the left, we have an infographic created by the Comprehensible Classroom. What is write and discuss? After co-creating a story or engaging in a discussion with students, the teacher creates a summary of what was shared. As the teacher writes, they ask the students questions to recall information. These questions serve as another way to expose the students to input. The teacher enhances the writing by adding transitional phrases and connectors. The teacher pauses to reread what has been written, checking for comprehension. The teacher also points out a couple of structural features present in the text. Some teachers type the passages in a Google Doc. Others use document cameras, and others write on sticky chart paper. Here's an example of what write and discuss looks like for a special person interview. As you see, I highlighted some of the text. Typically, in order to draw students' attention to various structures, I will highlight, bold, and underline in the text. Here's an example of what write and discuss looks like for weekend chat. Those who are familiar with French will see that I wanted to draw the students' attention to the passé composé. Ultimately, the purpose of write and discuss is to model the writing process for students. Write and discuss is almost a daily practice for me. As a French teacher, it is an essential component of class because of the differences in how the French language sounds and how it is written. Creating anchor charts and using them purposefully in class can also assist students along their writing journey. Since implementing write and discuss in my classes, my students' writing skills have improved tremendously. In mid to late October of a typical school year, I begin the process and procedure of bi-weekly timed free writes. It is common to do free writes weekly. I prefer bi-weekly because I teach on a block schedule. Here are some suggestions for implementing free writes with novice students. You may want to provide some word banks for students. The word banks could include essential structures that are high frequency or structures you would like to see in their writing. You may include connectors and conjunctions to enrich the language. Novice students will most likely need a prompt to get them started. For example, they can tell a familiar story from another character's perspective or create an alternate ending to a familiar story.
Now we will focus on examples of output tasks on the intermediate level. Intermediate level tasks and student products can vary from school to school and district to district. The examples represented in this session are based on the students in levels 2 and 3 at a project-based high school. The shared examples will have speaking, writing, reading, and listening components, but not necessarily all 4 in each task. We use the terms projects, benchmarks, and presentations to identify the connection to our school core values and the amount of work or type of task that we are asking our students to produce. The major functionalities and online resources that will be used in the examples provided include Vocaroo, Canva, Storyboard That, and Nearpod. These resources allow students to create a visual and auditory story using Storyboard That and or Canva, capture student voices using Vocaroo in a comfortable setting for maximum support, and share stories using Nearpod for all to scan, which allows others to see and hear their classmates. Vocaroo is essentially an online tool that students can use on a computer or on their phone to easily record themselves. Students can be in a comfortable setting, prepare their answers, and redo the recording as many times as they need to. Moreover, Vocaroo provides several ways to save and submit their recordings using a QR code, a link, or by downloading the audio as a file. It is a resource that can be used inside as well as outside of the classroom, and it is easy to navigate and use. This resource can provide a way for students to capture their interpretive and presentational modes in one task. Canva is an online resource that can be used in several ways. One way that I use this resource with students is by having students create infographics that include their notes on a particular concept or unit. It is easy to navigate for teachers and students and is a free resource where students can create a login using their school email. These are different student examples. The infographics included definitions and summaries, important notes, example sentences with helpful images, helpful ways, tricks, or tools to support their learning, and acronyms that can support or help their learning. As you can see, there is no one way or right way to create the infographic. Additionally, students can use Vocaroo to add a QR code that is an auditory breakdown, target language examples, etc. Another resource that students can use on Canva includes storyboard templates. Students can choose from different templates, upload images, media, and more. Lastly, students can include a Vocaroo audio QR code image. Once a storyboard has been created, it can be downloaded as a PDF and shared with others. Another storyboard option is Storyboard That. The free version includes thousands of customizable images, 2 storyboards per week, 3 and 6 cell storyboards, classic storyboard layout, single user account, watermarks, and basic print options. So one way that I have students work on the limitations of the free version is to create a 3x6 of the free pictures and cells and take a picture and upload it as an image. A way to share class documents when students are either working in groups or independently can be through the collaboration board on Nearpod. There is a free option with limitations, but the Collaborate board is an option that teachers can use in their classes. Students receive a code to log into a lesson, and then they are able to upload their images, files, and more on the Collaborate board. As you can see here, this is an example of one class that had 6 groups, and each group uploaded their QR code for their story. There are free materials online that you can use to build up your students' comprehension and continue to develop a lesson. This resource is based on the Practical Spanish website. There are basic beginner reading comprehension that allows students to listen to a short audio in Spanish. It even provides the English and Spanish version of the comprehensive reading passage. There are questions that are already created on the website. They can have time to comprehend and create their responses. And lastly, in their own comfortable and safe space, can create their audio responses using Vocaroo. The output is based on the answers to the questions from the dialogue. Students can upload their audio responses using a link or the QR code. Another way that you can build upon a lesson is by using scaffolding methods and gallery walks to provide students time to collaborate in groups, build on the understanding of a resource in the target language, like a poem, provide time for students to delve into the deeper meanings and diverse perspectives of what the poem could be about, and then create their own version of the poem. Students are encouraged to create poems that reflect a personal perspective, triumph, journey, or struggle. In the past, students have used this project to share their cultural, religious, and identity journeys. Being able to see from the eyes of a student is empowering, uplifting, and educational. This example is of a student that submitted a project entitled ¿Qué es el arte negro? This truly embodied the goal of this project and was about his cultural journey in becoming a young Black man. He reflected on a poem about a person finding themselves and asked me if he could use this poem to reflect on the successes of African Americans in the United States. It was such a powerful display of history, culture, truth, and hope. He was so inspired with the information he learned, the conversations he had, and the opportunity to celebrate Black history in a Spanish classroom. And he ended the project with his own declarations and hopes for his future. Another example is the poem The Street, La Calle. And in this, I had our students create a version of this poem in their own words in small groups. And I created a way where they can do a gallery walk and walk around the class, read others' perspectives and versions of the poem, and give feedback at the end. The rules of a scavenger hunt, whether virtual or in person, are quite simple. Students must find all items and snap a photo. Once the timer ends, whoever has the most pictures wins. The basic idea behind a world language scavenger hunt is to allow students the opportunity to not only take pictures, but create sentences. Figure out the item based on clues in the target language. So they received 3 clues in the target language, one about a location, a second about a description, and the third about what we would need it for. Based on these clues in the target language, they would have to figure out what the item is and take a picture. And provide an opportunity for students to be creative with their pictures when possible. This quick game allows students to be creative, to show understanding through writing and pictures within a time limit, not too long and not too short. And as you can see in these examples, some of my students had a little bit more fun in trying to create purposeful and yet artistic ways to demonstrate their understanding of how to show an item in preposition of one another. We would like to thank you for viewing our session today. This presentation is a condensed version of a workshop series that we present during the school year.
For more information about this expanded PD session or other PD opportunities, please visit our website by following the link or scanning the QR code.